Hello and welcome back. With this video, we will talk about the structure of the verb to start doing something and the one with the verb to stop doing something. Why is that? Because these two verbs are very important in conversation, okay? Because it's very important to be able to say what you want to start doing, what you stop doing, and yada, 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 okay? And why are they common? Because people love to talk about themselves, and you will as well when you are in Italy. Okay, this is very important conversation-wise again, and this is gonna also give you the tools to acquire more confidence when it comes to speaking the language. You will be thankful after this video, trust me. Also, another reason to study these two verbs is that their structure is a little bit tricky, and I will tell you why in a minute. You will understand it, so for you it's gonna be super easy, trust me. That being said, let's do the work. In order to be sentences with to start doing something and to stop with to start and to stop, we need to follow three steps. Number one, we must conjugate to start and to stop according to the subject. Number two, we put a preposition. We throw a preposition after the conjugated to start and to stop. And be careful that this preposition has basically nothing to do with the standard usages of prepositions, okay? That's why this structure is a little bit tricky. Number three, we throw the infinitive of the target verb. By target verb, I mean, for instance, I start studying Portuguese. The target verb here is to study. I stop working at Starbucks, is the target verb is to work, and so on. Okay, so conjugated start or to stop, the correct preposition, and the infinitive of the target verb. Okay, so let's take a look at the conjugations of this to start on the left side and to stop right side. Let's start with the first one. The translation of to start is either iniziare or cominciare. They are both they work the same. They are perfectly fine. They are interchangeable. Pick your favorite one. I encourage, pardon me, I encourage you to maybe use iniziare just because Italian-English hack. Just because iniziare should remind you of to initiate. Initiate, iniziare, they're pretty similar, whereas cominciare, I don't see anything similar in English, okay? Anyways, pick your favorite one. You can even memorize both of them because they are regular. Both of them are regular, as you can tell by the conjugation. We will go over the conjugation in a second, but just keep in mind that both exist, okay? So if you decide to use just iniziare, keep in mind that also people will say cominciare. There are other verbs that they are pretty similar that translate to start. Many people in Italy also use incominciare, which is a mashup between iniziare and cominciare. Doesn't really matter. These two are perfect. Conjugations are inizio, inizi, inizia, iniziamo, iniziate, iniziano, or for the broader cominciare, comincio, cominci, comincia, cominciamo, cominciate, cominciano. Regular conjugation of verbs that end up with are. All right? Now, when it comes to the verb to stop, we can use either smettere or finire. And these two verbs are not really the same. I will tell you the difference in the next slide. First off, let's continue and let's read the conjugations. Smetto, smetti, smette, smettiamo, smettete, smettono. And when it comes to finire, finisco, finisci, finisce, finiamo, finite, finiscono. Why is this one not finiscio? You should know this at this point because it's O, finisco, hard sound. The sh sound is with E and E, finisci, finisce, okay? I know that you know, but just in case, I decided to repeat myself a little bit because I'm a horrible person, not because I want you to succeed in the process. Okay, so what is the difference between smettere and finire? Generally speaking, of course, there are exceptions, blah, blah, blah. You get my point. But generally speaking, we use finire when we stop doing something, even temporarily. Whereas smettere, on the other hand, is for stuff we stop doing for good. From this perspective, if we can rephrase to stop with to quit, then probably we must use smettere. This is an extra hack that I did not write here. If you can rephrase to stop with quit, we use smettere. Quit smoking, we use smettere. Quit wasting time, we use 𝐿𝐿, and so on. So, for instance, I finish or I stop working here every day at 7 p.m. This is finire, okay? But if we say I will stop working for Microsoft in 2 weeks, we're gonna use smettere, okay? Because we will quit working here for good, okay? Also, on a side note, but this comes more natural, if we say that I finish my pasta and then I eat a steak, it's more natural because to finish should remind you right away of finire. But just in case you're confused about this, we don't use smettere, we use finire. So we have finish or to stop plus a noun, we use finire. No question about it. The tricky part is to decide whether it's stop or finish plus verb, and we need to pick between smettere and finire. If we can rephrase it with to quit, then we use smettere. If we cannot do that, and if it's temporarily scenario, we use finire. There are some blurred lines here and there. You might mess it up sometimes in the future, but people will help you. We might correct you, which is fine. But overall, this is the best way to learn the difference, okay? Has worked in the past for other students. It's gonna work with you just fine, trust me, okay? So memorize this difference, please. Let's continue. So we said the first step, we conjugate to stop to stop. Then we need to combine them with preposition. Which prepositions? So with iniziare or cominciare, we use preposition a. With smettere and finire, we use preposition di. And this is why it's tricky, because in English we say, I start studying, there is no preposition in English. I stop doing, there is no preposition in English. Now, if we rephrase it with I started to study, which in some areas of the English-speaking world, I know that it's an option, or at least in ancient English, in Old English. I studied sometime back in the day in school at some point. So if I say I start to study, there is the preposition to, and yes, it's involved with the classic standard uses preposition to. But with this one, I stop to study, D is not one of the usages, the standard usages of preposition to. That's why this structure is super tricky. Just memorize it. There are no ways around. Now, let me give you my visual hack to associate A with these two guys here, iniziare and cominciare, and D with smettere and finire. My super weird hack is the following. Cominciare and iniziare, they have many letters. They are longer words, longer verbs, especially cominciare. So you should think, okay, cominciare is long. I use the shorter preposition a, which is just one letter. The other way around, finire and smettere, and more specifically finire, has letters. Then I will use D, which is built with 2 letters. I don't know. This is one of my weird, silly hacks. Not the best hack that I came up with. This is what I can share with you in this specific case. The hack about iniziare and to initiate, I'm not humble in this case, is good enough, in my opinion. This one about the numbers of letters, it's a personal thing. Maybe it works with you, maybe not. Any case, you have to memorize it. Iniziare or cominciare goes with a, smettere or finire goes with D. And then we throw the infinitive of the target verb. By target verb, I mean I start studying, the target verb is to study. I stop working, the target verb is to work. So, to sum up, iniziare or cominciare plus a plus infinitive of the target verb, smettere or finire D plus infinitive of the target verb. What do I mean by everything that I just said? Let's do some examples. I will start studying Portuguese in 4 months. Inizio a studiare portoghese, with just one R, tra 4 mesi. So in this case, I use the future tense, but as you should know, we can hack the future tense by using the present tense. in Italian, as long as there is the time frame in the future, like in this case. So instead of thinking about the future tense in Italian, we use the present tense of the verb, which is to start, inizio. We've seen this already here, inizio, so present tense of iniziare. A plus the infinitive of to study, iniziare. Inizia a studiare portoghese tra 4 mesi, preposition in with time frame in the future, okay? I now stop wasting time and I go to the supermarket to buy groceries. Adesso, which is now, smetto di sprecare tempo e vado al supermercato per fare la spesa. Sprecare is the translation of to waste. Time is tempo. Smetto, you see what I mean. E vado al supermercato per fare la spesa. To buy groceries is a so-called idiom, a phrasal verb. Phrasal verbs or idiom are just saying. Okay, just saying, and buy groceries is translated with this idiom, which is fare la spesa, which is literally to do the groceries. Spesa is when you go buy food, the groceries, shopping, basically. Okay, but this is not very important here. It's not a key factor. Interesting, we use preposition per here because it's I go to the supermarket in order to buy. You should know this. But again, not even this one is the key factor. The key factor here is smetto di sprecare. Okay? We use smettere because we are saying, quit wasting time now. Okay? Stop doing time for good. I will go to the supermarket. Okay? Give me this one, please. I finish or stop working every day at 7 p.m. Give me the translation. I'm going to give you a minute and a half with this one. Pause this video and give me the translation. Right? The translation is: finisco di lavorare ogni giorno alle 7 della sera. Okay? Straightforward. Finisco, because it's temporary, it's not quitting for good, or at least not the idea of quitting for good. We use finire, di lavorare ogni giorno alle 7 della sera. Finisco plus preposition di plus infinitive. I will stop working for Microsoft in 2 weeks. Give me a translation of this one, please. The translation is: I really hope you enjoyed that clip. And if you want to watch the full length video, you can find it in my media library, which is part of my mentoring program. And if you're new to this channel, make sure you click on the subscribe button. Now, that being said, in the description box down below, you can find a few useful links to my mentoring program, to some free material, and so on. Have an amazing day, and I will see you very, very soon.